only time, and Zaire twice, indeed their record is that bit better than Nigeria. But I suppose the characteristic and the major one of this tournament is that only one of the 12 teams playing has reached the World Cup finals themselves in the USA, and that is, of course, Nigeria. I think you can take it that he supports the other side, Zaire, but Nigeria, I think, would be favourites at this particular stage. They, of course, are faced by a team who've won this competition twice, in 1968, when they beat Ghana 1-0 in Addis Ababa, and in 1974, I remember they went to the World Cup in that year, when they beat Zambia 2-0 after a 2-all draw. That was in Cairo. Nigeria are playing in those white but mottled shirts, and Zaire in green. The referee is Lim Ki-shong. And there have been a few yellow cards, and notably affecting the Zaire side, because their goalkeeper today is Bilolo Bulayima, had 2 yellow cards and obviously is out of this one. I said Nigeria favourites to win this one, but of course, as we start this game, we've got to recall that Zaire came into this very stadium in front of an infinitely bigger crowd, of course, and helped put the whole nation out of this competition, drawing 1-1, played in a very tenacious way. When the Tunisians wanted to sweep them aside, they remained very solid at the back, very good on the counter-attack, and consequently Tunisia went into mourning, as you can see from the crowd in the stadium now. Stadium which holds just about 50,000, and I would say there's about 5,000 in the stadium at the moment. Ball touched out there by Oliha trying to get it inside to Amokachi. And apart from anything else, I think all of us are hoping that this tournament will erupt into life. We're needing something infinitely more dynamic. There's been 1 or 2 individual touches that you could admire, but in a team sense, there hasn't been a great deal of fluency. And certainly in terms of competitiveness, all these teams have been rather laid back about the whole proceedings. And as I said in a previous game, I think we have to look, or everybody has to look, at the organization of finals like these, especially when teams are playing and realize they don't need to bust a gut to get through to the final stages. Now, I think there's a feeling of liveliness about this game that we haven't already seen. And sweeping up at the back there, Danga getting that away, puts it out to Ngombo. Played there by Nisimba. Lovely little turn by Lokosi. Tries to get it through to Makanya. There's backing by Danga. And Lembe trying that shot. Lembe, who scored that goal, by the way, he's got a couple of names. We also call him Kamosha. Or I should say Lembe Baswala. Played for Lokeren. A young, promising player. Although I have to say, European scouts coming here have been largely disappointed. I don't think there's quite the crop of talent that they thought they would harvest to great effect. Iroha. Man to watch in the Nigerian side, of course, Yekini. He's already scored a couple of goals. Nigeria beat Gabon in the first game, and Yekini scored with a lovely little deft chip in the first game and a blistering free kick. Almost took the net away. The goal was scored by a man who's not in the starting 11, Mutin Adepoju from Real Santander in Spain. Nice little attack there, but the final ball played just between the two players, allowing Okafor to slide in for Nigeria. Beautiful conditions for football. And we're going to have this musical accompaniment right through the afternoon, I imagine. And I'll swept right across goal. That was Nsumba. Goalkeeper there is Rufai. Peter Rufai plays for Go Ahead Eagles. They say he's not happy in Dutch football at the moment. Well, 30 years of age, perhaps at that stage of life he's wanting to move on now. Picked up by Amokachi. Strong, driving player, of course. And if you've been watching European Cup football, you will have seen that man playing outstandingly well for FC Bruges last season in the Champions League. He always troubles defenses if the ball is hit to make a defense turn, and he's facing goal, and then he can prove to have that blistering pace that makes for good penetration. Played neatly back there by Nsimba. Bakasongo. Way deep into the penalty area headed. The two men together there. I think might have been slightly blinded by the sun. Weakly out of play. And every now and again during this competition we've been hearing the rhythmic drums in the background. Unfortunately, the play hasn't quite matched that. I'm afraid the pulse beat of this competition has been somewhat slower. But it's a one-off this time. We've been playing in these tiny little leagues, 4 sections of 3, and it's all been terribly tactical. Okafor was at the back, and then Iroha forward. Chased there by Oliha. Thompson Oliha. Played all his football on the Ivory Coast, as a matter of fact. The other contenders, which they played back, and as I said, the Zaire defense proved to be very solid indeed against Tunisia. Just about 7 minutes gone, still no scoring in the African nations quarter-final between Zaire and Nigeria. Zaire in the yellow shirts and Nigeria in the white. Yes, well, they're taking their time again. And those long high balls in towards the penalty area, I think are going to be a waste of time like that, played so simply, because as I said, Nsimba and Kasongo have been very good in defense. Go to Zaire. Enzal with it. Well, there's been some solid tackling in this competition, some erratic stuff as well. The referee today, Lim Ki-shong, one or two of the referees rather bizarre in their decisions, but there's a Zaire support, I would figure about 200 or 300 of them, making a noise fit for 20,000. Surface in many ways very good. The turf is very flat, but I think a little bit lush. Or should I say it's even but lush. nonchalantly up there with his right hand by Enzao. Now that's not a bad ball, just behind the defender. Mpoti looking quite adventurous on this right wing. This is Iroha. And they're going to want to play this almost at walking pace, at least at the start of the game. I think you're seeing an indication of what will be coming at half-time. Very neatly turned back there by Egwaben, the captain. Egwaben plays in Courtrai in Belgium, second division side. And the Zaire side tried to use this long ball down the right wing. 10 minutes gone, still no scoring. Iroha. In defense there, Okafor. Uchenna Okafor. And really no great pressure on the defenses so far as Egwaben plays that so casually back. And you can see the almost taunting Zaire, tempting them to come forward. And they're going to lose possession with these longer balls. The other game, of course, following on from this immediately after, and you can see it live on Eurosport, is Egypt against Mali. On that far side is Lembi trying to go around his man and brought down. I think he's looking for a free kick. The referee just points to the penalty area. Go kick. Yeah, sparkling little player there, although with the aid of that video replay there, not just quite as fast as that. That goal he scored was a goal that knocked out Tunisia and effectively put a dampener on the local population, who I think have gone to the beach this weekend. Now that's much better turning. Amokachi with it, looking for that little 1-2 onto Yekini, and he can't finish it. Might have been more profitable if he had played it back inside. Amokachi was coming alongside him again. That is Enzao. Well, nothing much to choose between these two teams at the moment, although I think significantly Nigeria had played in a rather flat way in their opening game against Gabon, but what they were very good at was striking. They hit 3 very good goals indeed, and in between very placid and benign. So don't be fooled by this. I think they have that explosive touch in the likes of Amokachi and Yekini in particular, and perhaps coming off the bench, Mutin Adepoju. Glorious day for football. And a far from glorious cross into goal that time. Lembi with it. Enzao. That's the better ball, tempting the goalkeeper across goal and taken by Rufai under pressure. 30-year-old goalkeeper looking very lively there, guarding that near post well. And look how he just pushed his arms away from the goal line just to make sure. While we hear the official attendance is about just over 2,000. So quite clearly, as I pointed out, the local population on a wonderful day have decided to go to the sea and not to watch what you might call these interlopers into Tunisia, because Tunisia thought they might do very well in this tournament and haven't at all. Goalkeeper going down well. Bilolu Tambwe. Good ball just behind the defender. Tembe trying to go into the middle. Easy there though for Rufai. Looks a solid customer. Good, safe, clean pair of hands. Now this is where it really matters in midfield like this. Better play. Lembe going away. As I said, a very tricky player indeed. Needing a little bit of support. And Boti giving him it. Now picked up here. Enzao, an attacking fullback. And notice how Lembe, attacking down the left, suddenly comes right across to the right. Quite obviously, the coach, Fasafa, has given him a free roll, just to roam right across the front of the attack. Look at the way, casual way, and Zhao holds that ball. Not the easiest thing to do. Trying to take his players on. One remembers the Zaire team that came to the World Cup in 1974. They started off reasonably well and they were taken apart by Yugoslavia. Remember the famous incident at a free kick for Brazil, and the Zaire player ran up and kicked the ball himself. They've learned a little more since then. That was number 20, Mboti, trying to put that down. This game will go into extra time and penalties if it remains level after 90 minutes. Iroha. With the ball held back by the wind very kindly there for Yekini. Puts it out Amakachi. And he goes through on the goalkeeper, and I think he looked across to the linesman there. And a tangle of bodies in the penalty area, and nothing coming of that spot there by Amakachi. By my watch, 17 minutes of the first half gone, and there's still no scoring. That's Yekini, and I think he was fouled. Free kick. Now, any nearer goal, and I think Zaire would suffer because they've got marvelous strikers, including Yekini himself. But this is going to be taken by Oliha, Thompson Oliha, the Ivory Coast club player. Brought down on the far side by George Finidi. Now, the game I saw him play, and he was very much lackluster against Egypt. No scoring draw there, but this is Yekini. Good position. Defender watching him very carefully. Good defending there. Just kept his eye on the ball. Wasn't going to be deceived by any body movement, and then puts the ball away. And so far, stalemate. Quickly taken free kick. I was saying about George Finidi, or Finidi George as they call him in Holland. Ajax in Holland have been rather perturbed that he wasn't played for the 2 full games, sat on the bench in the first one, and they're missing him very badly. And perhaps not perversely, hoping, Ajax that is, hoping that Nigeria are knocked out of this competition so that Finidi can go back home and help the club. Watch him, number 7, playing way wide right. Good turn of pace. And on both sides, the long high ball played into the penalty area. It's just been potted back into midfield. I begin to think Nigeria are turning it on a little bit now, and that's a bad one. Required a better finish than that, with the two players running right up. That's the player I was talking about, George Finidi. Apologizing to both Yekini and Amokachi. Like this player, Lembe, gets around, lays off balls to other people well, but I think his major asset would be taking on a defense. Wiry customer, but he has good ball control. Enzao. Oh, that's well picked up there by Mboti, trying to push it forward to Lembe. 20 minutes gone, 0-0. Perhaps not too surprising. While the tournament has been criticized for being very lackluster, to say the least, I think that would be a euphemism. And in these knockout stages, we hope for something much more dynamic. Absolutely no reason why we shouldn't get flowing football off these teams. They have the potential for that, but I think the whole of African football has been rather Europeanized. What comes first in our minds is prevent a defeat. That is the player I said wants to take on defenders. Certainly can't do it very well. And at long last, the television director is showing you something that has some dynamic about it. The drums in the background. And down went Lembe there. Free kick. Taken by Lembe himself. Little spurt into the penalty area. Taken away there by Okafor. And now the race is on. This is a very good opportunity, and it's Mboti. Appealing to the gods. He just went for it far too quickly. I think he could have advanced another half dozen paces before letting fly. The powerful figure there of Yekini, and if they can feed him and he can shield the ball and get the runners around him like Finidi and Amokachi, then something, I'm sure, will work out for Nigeria. Oliha. They put back there by Finidi, getting support from the back. Egwoben had come up. I just get the feeling neither of these teams, until Yekini picks us up if he can, know exactly what their objective is this afternoon. On such a glorious afternoon tour, just get the impression that there's an air of apprehension about this game. And of course, all the other nations trying to shoot down Nigeria for being the only one of them to qualify for the World Cup finals. And from what we've seen of Nigeria so far, I don't think any of the world's major nations are quaking in the boots at the prospect of playing them. This is Okafor. Trying to get that ball more and more to Finidi on the right, but to little effect. Well, that's a beautiful ball right behind the defense. One of the best balls of the afternoon. Trying to get on top of Lukaku. And Clemens Westerhoff, the Nigerian coach, played his football for Vitesse in Holland. Just a little perturbed that the Zaire players saw that gap, almost exploited it. A beautiful ball by Nasimba from midfield, though. Now here he is again, tricky little customer, Lemby. This is what I like to see him doing. Oh, not the pass, though. Lying very deep there. Yekini, and up comes Amokachi into Yekini, and Yekini just gives it away. Taken away by Ngombo. Out to Finidi, that's the pace we're talking about. That's very useful, but the goalkeeper, Lolo, very quick off his line. "25 minutes gone of the first half, no scoring." This is number 6, Lukimov for Zaire, 21 years of age, picked up though by Oliha. Now this is where they're trying to pin Nigeria down. I think they're aware of the danger of Yekini getting touches to the side to Amokachi. They're certainly plying him with the ball, but it's not coming off so far. And there hasn't been a decent goalkeeping save worthy of the name. And alas, that has been one of the major characteristics of the tournament. No pressure on goalkeepers at all. Well, it's a very weak one there by Iroha. And picked up there by Mboti. Might try a shot at goal. He does indeed. But Rufai had that covered all the way. Quite right to try there. A little gap it opened up, as you could see from behind the goal. Indeed, I would call that poor marking by the Nigerian defense, allowing him that latitude. Shots at goal. And as you can tell from that, Zaire have been pressing that little bit more, but this is Yekini looking for the shot back inside. And I think he just passed the buck there. It was picked up by Amokachi. Now back inside to Oliha. And this defense is working very well. Nigeria, not at all intimidating as Zaire in this match, as many people thought they would. Amokachi. Goalkeeper does very well again. I think he's going to be busier somehow. I don't think either of these teams will want to go into extra time. Brisk wind blowing. Benefiting at the moment Nigeria. Mention extra time to the organizers of this tournament. And I think they'll have palpitations thinking of the final in 1992, which went to extra time and then penalties and won 11-10 by the Ivory Coast. I don't think anybody wants that again. Well, that shows you that Zaire fight for everything. The tenacity of Mboti paying off there. Now, can it be laid back here? Nice little ball. Defense almost caught out. And they are bothering this Nigerian defense. Zaire, quite simply the more impressive team at the moment. Chipped way forward there, picked up by Kasongo. Decent ball into goal, just touched away by Egwabon. And Zaire getting the passing game together in midfield. And they're producing these ticklish moments. Balls just played in behind defenders. That's another one a little bit too strong this time. And it looks to me as if Clemens Westerhoff is going to be calling for a substitution. trying to make up their mind about something tactically. Can't be happy with Nigeria's performance at the moment. That's a bit of pace we like to see in this rather lackadaisical match. More effort coming from Zaire, just a little bit unfortunate there. And once again, you could see the gap appearing on the left. That's the fullback coming forward, and I think they'd caught them out because Lokosi had gone inside with a fullback with them, leaving that space clear. And up came very neatly Enzal, but the ball just ran away from him. Good move by Zaire. This is more promising, picked up. Ikoku looking well. Ikoku, of course, the Monaco player, driven into goal again. Haven't seen much of Ikoku so far. Let me just rephrase that. Ikoku's the Norwich player. It's Ekpiba, who's not been fielded today, is the Monaco player. My apologies to everybody in Norwich about that. We're talking about Ifan Ikoku, of course. So, 15 minutes remaining of this first half. There's still no scoring. This will be taken by Olise, and not a single Nigerian player coming forward for that. Now what's the Dutch coach going to say about that at halftime? There was a theory before this tournament started that Nigeria, as this is picked up by Amokachi, come to that in just a second, a promising move, breaks up it again, that Nigeria would play it rather easy and reserve their greater momentum for the World Cup itself, that they would go through the motions, as it were. I think that theory is gaining some credence now. Well, but let's see if they pick up their pace a little. That was played out there by Oliha. At far side. Run forward by Yekini. Amokachi, and just taken away as Oliha came up. One of their better moves in this half. Perhaps the most promising player afield at the moment. Number 19, Lembi Baswalo. He was a couple of years out of international football for a variety of reasons, and now he's back. Scored a goal, of course. That fateful goal against Tunisia. Oh, given away. Much too careless. Yekini. Now, can he get going? No, too many players around him. Well, Vesafa has coached and instructed his team rather well. He knows where the threat is coming from. And every time Amokachi or Yekini have got going, you've had three defenders grouped round him. Just beyond everybody coming into the back. Better ball by Maboti. Well, they remain cool. Pushed back by Oliha, and I think free kick. There is Daniel Amokachi from Belgian football. Made his debut in this tournament at the tender age of 17. That was 2 tournaments ago. Oh, rather too clever by half there by the man right in the middle, Okafor. Certainly didn't relieve the danger, and I think the flag was up for offside. About 12 minutes of the first half remaining. The skies are clear, and so also is the goal sheet. man who rather, in a too precious way, chested the ball down just a few seconds ago. What you're seeing, of course, are basically two very well organized, tactically sound teams. Not the highest class of football, unfortunately, but they know their way about the field and how to group, how to negate. What they haven't been able to do is penetrate. Amokachi. I thought he was almost going to crawl after that. Big, powerful lad. Just over 6 feet. Very, very fast. But you wouldn't think so watching this game today, because simply not getting the right kind of service. Well, that was very neat play indeed by Danga there, laying it to the side. Persistent play there by Nsimba. Solid tackle by Lokose. Good running, free movement there, but just beyond Nsimba. And so the drums keep on, but you imagine they've stuffed cotton wool in their ears because they haven't yet had that tempo. Still no scoring, and I make it, by my watch, exactly 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Amokachi. Just inside Amoloya. Finidi. Wanted it pushed back towards him. Lokose, I beg your pardon, Olise. Onto Amokachi. Looking back for support. Gets it from Iroha. And that wasn't such a daft ball. Clipped diagonally into the penalty area. Off the head of Egwabon. Well, I think the Tunisians are facing a major problem here of trying to excite the public to come along and watch these games. Powerful, powerful burst. And I think the referee, yes, rightly saying a free kick. It's going to be taken by Lokose. And he's allowing Lemba to go right up. Or he in fact is going to leave it to Lemba. Deft chip to the edge of the box. Trouble is, he had nobody around him to parry it back. And no really open running. Rufai wanting his players to go forward. Let's see what kind of length he gets with this. It's up towards Finidi. Has to be said that Nigeria have the potential for great striking. Not at all impressed by the outfield play, but they do have these players, Amokachi, Yekini, wonderful strikers of the ball, so that is always there for them. I think free kick again. I suspect it's Nigeria's way. Be taken by Egwabon. Up deep, Amokachi tries to put that back. Touched away by Lukaku. Nsimba picked up very well. And now coming forward, inching forward, Iroha. That's the ball that curved away in the wind. Really deceived the goalkeeper, Bilolo. And as Yekini went after that, I think we had watched perhaps the first little chance that Nigeria have had in this game. And they marked Finidi, Yekini and Amokachi very closely indeed. Haven't been able to get away from the markers. And the press in the boxes don't look over-enthused about this either, do they? Or else they've had a heavy night of it last night. Right at the back for Nigeria, Okafor. He's only put 1 foot wrong, trying to chest the ball down in the penalty area, rather than simply getting rid of it. Score with 5 minutes remaining of this first half, nothing each. Goalkeeper hasn't had much to do with that. Coming out for that last cross was the only real pressure on him at all. Iroha about to take this. Iroha trying to make ground, looking up, gets a little bit of space. Can he get it over? Well, he does, and down goes the goalkeeper. Well, they've tested Balola both on the tough low ball like that and the high one in the air, and he's proving to have a very safe pair of hands. And remember, he is the substitute goalkeeper. It should have been Bulayima today, but he was yellow carded twice. This to be taken by Enzar, like the way he's played his part in the first half. A lot of attacking, which is more than can be said for his counterpart on the other side of the field. Well, it's going to be a hot town in the Old Town tonight, I think, if they win. And now they're beginning to strike the ball just that little bit too far, but perhaps Nigeria are going to assist them. Poor play up there by Mbote, the goalkeeper a little bit slow coming out, but gets there eventually. Peter Rufai. Deep, deep, deep it goes. And I think the last 10 minutes has been the poorest section of the game. Just get the impression that they want the halftime whistle to go in and have a good, hard-going talk with each other. The game at the moment, shapeless. Nigeria trying to regroup there. Yekini almost getting away with that. Given away, and Finidi, a little bit slow going in. I just get the impression one or two of these European-based African players are looking after themselves very carefully indeed. I make it about a couple of minutes remaining. And all that explosive potential I was talking about in Amokachi, Yekini and Ikoku has been nullified by a very hard-working Zaire defense who are bustling with energy. And that's the ball played towards Amokachi, and the goalkeeper not only has a safe pair of hands, but very, very brave as well. He had to go down. He made up his mind right away, and very agile, getting up off the backside. And the more alert and sharper play has come from Zaire. A much more impressive side. In the first 44 minutes, we have 1 minute remaining to have time. Of course, we didn't expect a blistering pace for 90 minutes in this tournament in any of the games, but they've been played with a very cautious tone and attitude. Consequently, the scoring has been very low indeed. Inidi. Now that's Amakachi, in fact, way in the far side. But I told you, this Zaire team, they are bustling them out of any composure, working very hard. Now that's a better run, and I think when you go like that, as Egweben was going, giving support for the first time in the match, then you can upset an organized defense because he popped up unexpectedly. I did say a few moments ago that Enzao was doing that. On the other side, there's Yakini after that, and that Egweben wasn't. And now that's causing a little concern, and the goalkeeper, looking right into the sun, does that very well. And there goes the halftime whistle. The referee, Lim Ki-shong, bringing the first 45 minutes to an end. Well now, I suppose one could be hypercritical of a game of this sort. After all, it is a knockout. They've come through the league sections. We did expect a much more competitive game, but on the other hand, it's been a game of caution again. Well, at half-time, and remember, we're coming back live for the second half. Going to show you some tennis. A final set between Medved and Sanchez. David Mercer, of course, ready, willing, and able as ever to bring us up to date from Portugal. Mozambique 2-0. Then he went to Kenya and won 3-1. A very good result from there. Drew with Lesotho, 1 each. And in the return legs, drew with Mozambique, nothing each. Then Zaire, Kenya, they surprisingly lost at home. And then went to town against Lesotho when they won by 7-0. So goals for 13, goals against 3. That's not at all a bad record. And in doing so, they used 37 players. The man you see walking out there, Daniel Amokachi, one of the most promising players in Belgian football. And of course, the Nigerians hoping that they see the very best of him in USA 94 in the World Cup finals. Seen very little of him today, but as I said, he has the potential to score goals out of almost nothing. Game following on after we've seen the highlights of the tournament. After this game, the game following on, the other quarter-final tonight will be Egypt against Mali. And beside him there is Yakini, Rashid Yakini. Referee you saw there was Lim Ki-shong. Hasn't had a boisterous game to look after. Some of the tackling quite firm, but much more disciplined than some of the frenetic stuff we've been watching earlier on in the tournament. Some of it quite reckless. Patiently awaiting the start, and off we go into the second half of the quarter-final of the African Nations Cup between Zaire and Nigeria. lot of pace in the Zaire attack, and just every now and again got the impression the Nigerians were just taking this a little too easily. Ball whipped away from Olihia as he tried to bring that down. And so the drums beat on remorselessly in the background. If it's nothing each or level in any way at the end of this half, they'll go into extra time and penalties. That might in itself be an incentive to pick up the pace in the second half. That's Finidi. Not seen the best of him in this tournament at all. I remember Ajax quite perturbed that he's playing in this tournament at all, because they're missing him very badly in the Dutch league. Free kick to be taken by Olise. Might chip it way across to the far side of the penalty area. He doesn't indeed, trying a shot at goal, but way wide. Olise playing in midfield, plays his football in Liège in Belgium. He's only 19 years of age. Some of these players very young. Let us remind ourselves that Daniel Amokachi looks older than his years. He's only 21. Play right in the middle there. Olise again, seeing a lot of the ball right in midfield. Ikoku had come very deep. Chipped round the side rather in a laggardly way there by Iroha. Well, I've seen more sweat in a game on the beach than this one so far, especially in the second half. No wonder he's adopting a rather quizzical posture. Clemens Westerhoff, the Dutchman. Swept away there by Okafor. Now this is the burst that we really do expect of Nigeria, but dispossessed far too easily. Finidi. Well, Finidi can really trap down this right wing, but he's done nothing in the game at all. There he is, getting away from his marker this time. The finishing ball, a little bit strong. Chased there by Okoku. And they simply cannot get any construction to the moves in the penalty area. Going to get a corner kick all the same, and going across to take it is Finidi. Watch Yakini going for this. Very good in the air, as is Amokachi. There they are, right close to the line. The ball swinging in. The goalkeeper does well to get a touch. Hooked away by Lukaku. The shot at goal, brilliantly saved. Bilolo, who had proved to have a very safe pair of hands in the first half, also has very keen reflexive action. Got down to that very well. The shot again by Olise can rattle them in from way out. 19-year-old player, and we're thankful for that little burst of activity. Best shot in the game so far for Nigeria. but that is precisely the point I was making about them at the start of this half. They're much more capable of doing something like that than Zaire, who beat it away. There's no doubt. That's a beautiful ball picked up. He's got to put it. Great goal! Finidi, I beg your pardon, Yekini. Yekini it was. Beautiful ball right beyond the defender. And precisely what I was saying, that explosive action which they have potentially in them. And Yekini, the man who was the top scorer 2 years ago in this tournament, taking that with the outside of the foot, well controlled, well drilled finish. Five minutes gone, and as I expected, Nigeria have it in them to score like that. It's not exactly as if they've beavered away to get it. Just that solitary, effective pass made the defender turn. Yekini controlling it very well, I have to say. Yekini playing his football for Setúbal in Portugal. While the Zaire coach, Vesafa, must have been reasonably well satisfied with the performance in the first half by Zaire. Organized and working, harrying their opponents, marking them very closely in midfield. And now suddenly Yekini puts them behind. It's there again, and Yekini tries to touch it away. Now they look as if they're snapping in defense. Forward came Egwoven, the fullback who hadn't attacked very much in the first half. Deeper ball and chase there. That was Lukaku trying to come in. This should certainly settle Nigeria now. That's Ikoku. And now they've settled into walking pace again. Lukima put it through. Now, can they fight back? Oh, very significant run there. And a very bad cross indeed. Nsumbo Ngoy, the substitute. And all they did there was try to fire a long ball through the left. It's going to be a corner kick. Well, that's the player I was talking about a lot in the first half, Lembi Buswalo. Real appetite for this game. Sharp little player. Referee waving play on there. I thought Amakachi had been fouled. Now Yekini. I think he was trying to lay it back to Amakachi coming in from the left. There's Yekini trying to draw it down, but offside. Tries to drive that ball away down the left. There's Rashid Yekini. Scored a couple of goals against Gabon. A delicate, deft little chip as the goalkeeper came out advancing on him. And a really explosive free kick. Well, there's no doubting whom they support. Now this is better. 3 against 2 and a bad finish. They really built that up very well indeed. seem to have stabilized themselves now, and then Gumba Ngoy, the substitute, chipping right underneath it. Nice little touch on Yekini, chasing into the penalty area. Also Finidi. Now, almost picked up by Amakachi. And you can see Nigeria's coach, Clemens Westerhoff, looking rather relaxed about the proceedings, even though it was nothing each at halftime. I think instinctively felt, as some other commentators talking to them at halftime have felt, that Nigeria did have the players who could snatch a goal out of nothing. And indeed it has come to pass. 10 minutes of the second half gone. And a glorious goal by Yekini. Now Mboti, can he lay it off? Good defending though by Okafor. That was better stuff by him. Just got the impression he was getting a little carried away with himself, you know, too many neat touches in the penalty area rather than clearing his line simply. Almost got caught out once in the first half. Now away he goes again. Lemby wants the return, not going to get it though. Does now. Pushed out to him by Mboti. Little run there by Mboti, and again the final ball not effective. They played with Mboti just in behind Lukosi up front, and Lemby in behind him again. Lemby picking balls up from deep and going forward, and they really did annoy the Nigerian defense in the first half. But now they're one goal behind. They've really got to push for this. This is the quarter-final you're watching, by the way, if you've just joined us, of the African Nations Cup. Zaire in the yellow jerseys, one goal down, and a glorious one to Nigeria, scored by number 9 Yekini. And Nigeria is simply backtracking, funneling back towards their penalty area. Lucky little break there for Enzao. Touched away. Ole say good back in defense. And just as well, they should try it from way out there. Lemby just a little bit annoyed. He tried to screw that ball round. If you see the name Lembe Baswala coming up on the screen, he is called Lembe. Baswala the other name. Bust forward there by Lukosi. Good run by the sub, and he just keeps it in Ngoya. Well, Nsimba got into the penalty area, right to the edge of it. And they're coming back again. Not lying down to Nigeria. And what we see in Nigeria is a reasonably sophisticated defense. Some very dangerous players up front, Amakachi, Yekini, Okoku, but hardly anything in midfield. Nobody you could identify clearly as the playmaker. Well, that's better play. That one-touch football we haven't seen very much of. Mostly they've been doing that. Longish balls from just inside their opponent's half, being picked up on the edge of the penalty area. And very casually back there by Uche for Nigeria. Or Oke Chukwa, as he's sometimes called. Plays in Turkish football, and that was put in the path there of Egwaven. Did well to get that ball in. Who's there? It's the second one. No, good. Save that. Ikoku. What a fine goalkeeper this is turning out to be. Bilolo. Just reaching out, touching that away. Very good ball indeed by Egwaven. I thought for a moment he was so tightly cornered he couldn't get it across, and played back to the Norwich player who, to be fair, I don't think it hit it as sweetly as he would have liked. Substitution coming up. I think Ikoku about to come off to be replaced by Adepujo, who scored a glorious goal in the game against Gabon, the third goal. Adepujo comes on. Useful substitute to have. Plays in Spanish football, of course, Real Santander. And in it swings and going for that, Amokachi, the goalkeeper, Bilolo getting a touch again. The substitute goalkeeper, by the way, the first goalkeeper, Bulayima, was yellow carded twice. So, not playing in his game, and I wonder if he could get his place back after this. We're in the quarter-final. The game is between Zaire and Nigeria, and some of us wishing that was a scoreline. That was only the corner kicks. It's 1-0 to Nigeria. Scorer Yekini. Better on that far side. It's picked up by Yekini. Well, he's very good individually when balls are put to him in the box and he's facing goal. As you saw, the way he scored his goal, he's very good at that. But he doesn't have the finer touch when he's trying to play it around just outside the penalty area. Far too often he stumbles and the ball is taken away from him. Just keeps his balance, wanting to go to the outside, and I think he's going to get a free kick out of that. Amokachi coming into the box. Run forward there, by the way, was by Oliha, and Yekini, who can certainly strike free kicks, and does again, and just passed. Now, was there a touch? I think the goalkeeper just touched that watch, drilled in there, and he got his hands to it. Superb save. Turning out to be a man of some stature, this gentleman, Bilolo. Wonderful save that. Taken there by Finidi, and that's a very simple one. Well, he's been spectacular, but I think much more importantly for Zaire, he has been consistent and safe. Doesn't matter what kind of ball has been played into the penalty area. He's a very safe pair of hands. Big offside. We played 20 minutes in the second half. It's still 1-0 to Nigeria. Player on the far side there, Iroha. Benedict Iroha. Bit more adventurous than the man on the other side, Egwaven. Try to get the ball as often as they can to Yekini now. Watch it coming into the middle. Watch big Yekini go up, but I think the Nigerian players are now impressed by this man, treating him with a little respect. On that far side by Makachi. Oh, very slack ball indeed. Well, they might just catch this Nigerian defense being casual again. I think that's a marked characteristic of theirs. Well, that running I was talking about in the first half and just at the start of the second half, which I think was going to be the basis of the way Nigeria played this game, is now producing the goods for them. They are really disturbing this defense and stretching out to stop Amakachi there, Lokosi. Free kick. And look how alert that goalkeeper Bilolu is. Headed well away there by Kasongo. Run forward, no offside. Running in Oliha. Not well enough judged. And on this near side, Finidi had come in far too close. Off the thigh that. And they're pining to have him back to Ajax. Really missing him in the Dutch league. Rather annoyed he didn't play from the start in the very first game against Gabon. Free kick. And if the players had matched that remorseless drumbeat, I think the score would have been something like a 6-4 at the moment. Certainly not that. They're quite insulated from that kind of excitement. Good marking there by Kasongo. Although I think significantly, number 2 Egwavin has been told to push up the right a little bit more than he was doing in the first half. There he is. Beautiful early evening for football this now. And remember, we'll also be watching the other game later on live on Eurosport, Egypt against Mali. Now the touch, run forward there. Yekini, was he brought down? I think it's going to be a penalty, is it? The referee coming up. Strong, punishing run. Oh, yes, surely. Surely, the goalkeeper in abject misery. Now, was the challenge illegal, or did he go after the ball? Yekini got away. Oh, it's very difficult to tell. He went for the ball, but I think he knew that arm was left out there. It's becoming very, very difficult sometimes for referees to make up their mind about this. But the referee patiently waiting for Bilolo to recover here. Now a penalty kick and should be a red card. It is. Well, what a contrasting afternoon. I have been praising him for being one of the outstanding men in the field. He's had a string of marvelous saves, and now he ends up getting the red card. And I think in the final analysis it might have been a little harsh. Yes, there was contact. Yes, Yekini went down, but I do believe that Bilolo went after the ball originally. There was contact, and on purely technical grounds, penalty kick and a red card. And I think we're about to see Kasongo coming on. The referee Lim Ki Shong left. There's the substitution. Roger Lukaku off and then Pia on. There he comes. They had to do a little tactical reorganizing in terms of the thinking there. They need a goalkeeper. On he comes, and number 11 Lukaku has to go off. Well, the threat was always there in Yekini. Big, bustling, aggressive character. He staved off that first tackle. Stumbled. He is rather awkward, and sometimes his awkwardness is self-defeating. Anyway, penalty kick. And it's George Finidi about to step up and take this. Does. 2-0. And Nigeria surely assured of a place in the African Nations Cup semi-final. Done very sweetly. And oh dear, what a tragedy for Zaire. Bololo quite outstanding. Save after save. A clean pair of hands. And then that buster by Rashid Yekini. And what a different complexion that puts on the situation. Touch back there by Uchi. Uchi and Okafor, the two central defenders there. Just an air of casual play about them at times, but I get the impression that the coach, Clemens Westerhoff, must have given them a tongue lashing at half-time. You know, in contemplating this rule that we have now, bringing a player down like this, denying a clear-cut goal opportunity and the automatic sending off, sometimes you feel it's a trifle harsh. I really do applaud the motive behind it, to open up the play, to make it fairer for attacking football. But I sometimes feel sorry for goalkeepers as the last line of defense in that. Another little portrait of the man who brought about that goal. It was Finidi, of course, from the spot. Now really bust forward there, trying something desperate now, Zaire. Corner kick. Taken up by Lemby. Pushed out to Ngoy. Way past. Ball spinning off the outside of the foot. Nigeria have hardly been playing flowing football in this match. But as I said, they have that explosive energy up front. That's what is the marked difference between the two teams. Best of their players you saw just being pushed off the ball there, Lemby. Now the break again. Yekini just inside, put back. Up comes Oliha, who almost put in there. That defender missing it was Kosongo. We have another Kosongo on and Pierre Kosongo, the goalkeeper, substitute goalkeeper. And there's the ball just played in. Burly player, Yekini. to the outside, picked up there by Enzao. 2 goals for a man in this game who I think is going to possibly end up the top goal scorer again. And I think the pain and the anguish is going to be general throughout the Zaire side. They don't seem to have the ability to pick themselves up from 2 goals behind. So 2-0 for Nigeria. And the man at the back here, Egwa, then plays his football in Belgium. And all they'll do now is simply sit back a little. Just cramp Zaire in midfield. Neatly pushed inside there, Liha pushing it back to the outside again to Finidi. Then it's touched in. A very good goalkeeping by the substitute Mpia, in the sense that he was off his line very quickly indeed. Now getting to the goal line, and I think goal kick. Well, Yekini doesn't mess about, does he? We saw him scoring a glorious free kick the other night. Then an incisive high penalty. Much better play by Nigeria in the second half, largely because they've got to the feet of Yekini, Amokachi and Finidi feeding them from the right. As I said, they don't really have a prominent playmaker in midfield. Still, they're heading for the semi-finals, there's no doubt about that. Just chipped away. And the shadows lengthen on what has been a glorious afternoon for football. Not quite matched by the 22 players, but at least we've seen 2 goals. And off comes Olise. Sunday Olise, and Nduka Ugbadi comes on. That'll be a free kick. Quickly taken by that very useful player, Lembe. And now Nigeria playing it very simply at the back. Just knocking the ball back out of the penalty area. Long, extended tackle there by number 21, the man who's just come on as a substitute about 10 minutes ago, Adepoju. And I suppose Yekini will be desperately keen to get a hat-trick. Scorer of 2 goals in the first game. Then Nigeria drew nothing each with Egypt, whom you'll be watching later on tonight on Eurosport Live, the game against Mali. Touched in there by Mboti, another useful little player for Zambia, for Zaire. Now he's wanting number 7 to go way up the wing there, Kasongo. Rather bogged down in midfield at the moment. Cumbersome tackle. I think that was almost 50-50 there, but it goes Zaire's way. By my watch, I make it 10 minutes remaining. And the semi-finals, the very first match, Nigeria going through will play the winner of the fourth match in the groups. That's the winner Group D against runner-up Group C. Nice chip forward there. There's Westerhoff out of his dugout, just making sure that they're not going to be slack towards the end of this game. Zaire player who I don't think wants any more to do with this. So Nigeria will be playing the winner of Ghana or the Ivory Coast. That should be interesting, that Ghana-Ivory Coast game, a replay of the final of 2 years ago where it went to penalties, and how Ghana will be seeking revenge for the Ivory Coast, beating them 11-10 on penalties. Well, as a stretcher, they've been on and off in this tournament very quickly indeed. Be very careful with the players. I make it about 8 minutes. There'll be a little stoppage time. One, a good one right across the box there. Finidi trying to come in for a tackle. Played out wide, there he is, just in the shade. Yakini, 2 goals and looking for more. Chamley played forward there by Okafor. I'd like to see Okafor under sustained pressure. Looks as if he could be a very good player as Iroha comes in, chips it across towards Amokachi, and the defender right in the way there, Danga. Well, he's taken a bit of stick from the Nigerian defense, Lembe Baswalo, and come through it rather well. In it comes, headed away there by Nsimba. A little bit obvious, this kind of play. And very good defending again. Nsimba chasing him to the line. Back on comes Lembe. But this game now well beyond the capabilities of Zaire. Not such a difficult one. Finidi had followed that right up, didn't put any great weight behind it. I just get the impression Finidi is more interested in looking after his own physical well-being. Got to go back to play an important part in the Dutch Championship for Ajax. And I think he's wrapped himself in a little self-created cocoon. Nigeria stemming the flow just about halfway inside their own half and not breaking sweat in any great way. They know they have this game well won. Yakini. There's the goal scorer. And I do feel sorry for the goalkeeper, Bololo, who went off, red carded, tackling the man who eventually scored. Had a marvelous afternoon. Shouting at Ngoy, who came on as a substitute 15 minutes ago. And he's added a little bit of pace to their attack. Nigeria now playing well within themselves, just strolling around now. Coming up at the back is Okafor. A lot of good players to call on Nigeria, of course. They've Stephen Keshi, the very experienced player in the squad, hasn't appeared today. 32 years of age, played for Lokeren, Mechelen, Strasbourg, Anderlecht. Well thought of. Very much in the veteran stage now, but a useful man to call upon. And the depth of squad is going to be very important for them in the United States. I think he's thinking what we are thinking. We have seen better football matches. Touch forward there as Adepoju tried to pick it up. Little ball by Oliha, and nobody really going after it now. And all they're thinking about is maybe some relaxation tonight. After this quarterfinal, they'll be appearing in the semi-finals on Wednesday. The games, of course, both of them can be seen on Eurosport. Try to touch that to the side. Now run down here by Egwaven, but again they're trying for Yukini with that bustling run of his through the middle. Nicely chested down there by Kasongo. Well, maybe she should have gone shopping. Back now to Lemby. And it's all rather academic now. They're going through the motions. I make it a couple of minutes remaining. Perhaps some more stoppage time. Amokachi. Now can he cut it back? Trying to find Yukini. Gives it to Finidi. There's a shot, but not a very accomplished one. That was Adepoju, and of course we saw Adepoju score a very fine goal in the first game against Gabon. And some of the players from the other nations in here watching Nigeria, who I think must fancy the chances of going all the way now. There we are, that's the time left. Out comes the goalkeeper, and I think the lesson has already been learned. There's no way he was going to dive at feet that time. Remember, Bilolo went off, red carded 20 minutes ago, diving at the feet of Yukini. So Finidi to take this. Swerving away, and I think that may have swerved over the goal line, yes. Into the last minute, I suspect a little bit of stoppage time to be added to that. Remember, we'll be seeing highlights coming up very shortly. And later on in the evening, in about an hour's time, you'll be able to see the second half, the second game, rather, second quarterfinal. And right at the back there, Egwaven. Second semi-final, Egypt against Mali. Egypt played some very good football in their opening match. They drew with Nigeria, by the way, nothing each, but they beat Gabon 4-0. Nigeria beat them 3-0. So it's going to be an interesting game between Egypt and Mali. And Zaire up front, simply inadequate. No problems there for Rufai, who's had a very easy second half. They did bother him in the first half occasionally, especially Lemby going forward with Mboti, but there is a scoreline that will take Nigeria into the semi-finals, which will be played on Wednesday. And just sauntering through this now, waiting for that final whistle. And I think the spectators who paid handsomely to watch this, the few of them, I think the official attendance just over 3,000, might have expected a little more out of these two sides. Better run forward, picked up there, right across. Ugbadi who'd come in, the other substitute. While Zaire trying to get a consolation goal out of the afternoon. I doubt very much if they're going to get that. 2-0, grateful for the 2 goals scored, of course. Yekini the scorer, but a lot left to be desired about the quality of the play. They're just knocking the ball about and thinking of who they're going to be playing in the semi-final. Remember, the other 2 quarterfinals tomorrow, and that very important game, that rerun of the final 2 years ago between the quarterfinalists, Ghana and the Ivory Coast, will be on Eurosport tomorrow night. There's a decent shot at goal, and the only one, I think, in the past half hour that Zaire have had. And I will play 2 minutes of stoppage time. And when is the referee going to bring this to an end? And I think we're seeing a little summary of this tournament. Players unwilling to be wholly committed. Meant for Finidi, who's offside. I think the referee, Lim Ki-shong, must be enjoying himself out in the sun. There we are. So 5 goals in all have been scored by Nigeria in the tournament, and 4 of them scored by one man. The gentleman whose bustling style created so much damage, Rashid Yekini, from Setúbal in Portugal. There he is, central picture. Played very well against Gabon, and he is obviously going to be one of the key figures in the semi-finals as Nigeria head towards them. They're being played on Wednesday.